Welcome back to Sic'Em 365 Radio. Our weekly segment with Baylor Director of Athletics, Mack Rhoades, is brought to you by Edward Jones Investments Brokers. Brad Wilson, Ben Erlinson, and Cam Heathcott. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
All right, both of you who are very known to ask that extra question, Mack has to be off with us at 4:45, maybe even a minute or two prior to that. I honored him earlier today. We honor him again. He joins us on 365 Sports. Mack, thank you very much. I know the commissioner obviously had a chance to visit with him, was in town. Was that to visit Baylor again, or was that something while he was here? You guys also had a Big 12 conference call.
The latter. You know, he was generous enough and kind enough to do the tip-off luncheon, and it just so happened that we had a AD conference call at 10 a.m. and so we met in one of the suites and did the conference call from there. You know, accommodated a needy media partner person snuck in an interview and then went to the luncheon.
He mentioned a week ago about hoping that could be something done with the television network deals in a couple of weeks, and it seemed like today maybe tapped the brakes a little bit on that. Is it still something that could be on the horizon and not tapping the brakes?
Yeah, I think that you know, I think that he's been certainly cautious, but I don't think, you know, from when he made that statement to today, I don't think we feel any different. I think we're very, very optimistic, and I think something will get done here very soon. So we're, you know, again, things are fluid in this space, and you know, things can always change last minute, but I don't think anything has changed since the last time you spoke to him or the last time he made public comments about it.
Mack, I was really interested to hear him talk about and repeatedly talk about the television partners also not being just about paying you guys money for the rights to your games, but promoting and selling the Big 12 like, you know, most networks would that have a thing. I'm always curious, does it bother you as a commissioner or an AD in the Big 12 that, you know, certain conferences get the full meal deal when it comes to promoting, and the ACC, Big 12, and some of the other ones don't get as much on that? Wouldn't you want to promote every show that you have almost equally?
Yeah, so I think, Paul, that's a really good question. I think there's, you know, I'd probably look at it from two different angles. First, obviously, is yes. You know, and I think, you know, he talked about meaningful conversations with the TV partners. You know, and when we think about meaningful, it's beyond the rights fee, as you mentioned, right? It's really about, are you all in with the Big 12? Do you really believe in the Big 12? Do you really believe in the 12 member institutions? Again, speaking about when Texas and OU leave, and you know, are you in terms of helping us grow our brand and promoting the league and all of those things? And so I think those conversations have been very positive, meaningful, however, whatever descriptor that you want to use. But the other part of it, too, is we got to do our part. You know, we as Big 12, we've got to win. We've got to win at a high level when you think about, you know, all of our sport programs. But obviously, you know, so much attention when we think about TV media dollars and CFP, so much of it on football. And, you know, we've got to do our part. And there's no doubt in my mind that we will. And we're in the process of doing that. I think men's basketball has certainly shown that when you think about, you know, the last three Final Fours, really the last three finals have had Big 12 participants, and obviously the last two national championships. But football, we've got to do that, and I think we will. And so I think there's you know, both of those things coming together, and when they do, I think it's going to be really special for the Big 12.
Yeah, I think I've said on here a few times, like all that that marketing towards the SEC doesn't matter if they don't have like 6 teams win national championships in a 12-year time, or whatever the insane number is. That certainly helps matters when the teams are winning. Max, speaking of winning, your team, Baylor football on Saturday, hosting Homecoming, got a win over Kansas, able to snap a small losing streak, and certainly a little bit stressful there towards the end. But your thoughts on Homecoming weekend and football getting back in the win column?
Well, homecoming is always a special time, and it's great to see all of the Baylor family come back and unite on campus and have fun. And homecoming is quite an undertaking. There's so many different programs and events, and it takes a lot of people and all of their hard work, both at the university level in athletics. So just grateful to all of the people that, had a part in making it a really special weekend, the parade, the city of Waco, all of the people that again had a part and were important to making that a great parade. And then, homecoming is man, it's never what it can be unless your football team wins, and we were fortunate to win. And again, I'm always going to be transparent and candid. I was probably really, really excited about the first 25 minutes, and then not so much the next 30, and then excited again the last 5. And I think you saw a glimpse of what this team can be when we're playing complementary football. We're not, making mistakes, unforced errors. I'd like to maybe reference them as that, but and look, that's a really good Kansas team, and certainly blessed and fortunate to get a win, and now you got to turn around and we've got I think a really, really tough matchup in Lubbock. It's hard to play there. It's hard to play there at night. They're a good football team, and so it'll be a terrific matchup challenge for us.
Joey McGuire was obviously interested in the job when Mack Rhoades decided to go to the NFL, and Dave Aranda was your choice to replace him. And obviously last year, 12-2, National Coach of the Year, an incredible run. And then Joey left midway through last year, which is his opportunity to go to Texas Tech. How did your relationship with Joey, from the time you made the decision with Dave Aranda to the time he left, how was that, and has that changed?
Yeah, it's I think there's a balance there. The minute he made that decision, obviously, extremely happy for him and his family, and and so all of that, completely supportive of the transition. But you're now the enemy, and I love you, but now you're on the other side, and the relationship changes. It has to, and that's the reality of it. And they're trying to beat us, we're trying to beat them, and off season and maybe some specific other moments. Those are the times for the friendship and to connect. But right now, this is a big game, and we're trying to do our best to go in there and play at an elite level and beat a really, really good football team. I think Joey's done a really, really good job there, hired 2 really good coordinators, and and he's got some energy behind the program, which doesn't surprise anybody. And we certainly wish him the best, but not on Saturday.
When you decided on Dave Aranda, Mack, and I don't think we ever asked you this because he had to think about it, and I can understand anyone would, and he decided to come back. Did you have a conversation with him when that decision was made?
When Joey, to come back, yeah.
Yeah.
We did, because obviously there was disappointment. He wanted to be the head coach, and I made a decision decision otherwise, and certainly wouldn't change that decision. And I don't mean that any disrespect to Joey. Joey was at a different place in time in terms of his coaching career when you think about number of years at the college level, et cetera. And then all of a sudden you fast forward a year and 3/4 of a year and you're under now 2 different head coaches and you've had some different experiences and now maybe you're more ready to be a head coach. And so, but we had the conversation and, you can't do this unless, you're all in both heart and mind. And I think, certainly think Joey was. And again, you throw on top of the whole COVID stuff and it was it was a hard time, but he handled it well. I think Coach Aranda handled it exceptionally well. And, Joey got the opportunity, and again, like I mentioned, happy for him.
Mack, this game used to be a neutral site game. It's gone back to home and homes, and you see, across the country, Alabama's not playing as many of those neutral site games. Kirby Smart is talking about taking the cocktail party out of Jacksonville and going home and home because of recruiting. Do you see that maybe being less of a thing than it was a decade ago because now recruiting as the lifeblood, it's better to have these games on your campus?
Yeah, I think, in terms of your fan bases and your community, right. And the economy and all of those things, I think there's got to be something really compelling to take it off campus now. And obviously that's probably financial. And maybe that's financial tied into name, image, and likeness and those sorts of things. And so, I think when we announced, Kirby and I, announced that it was going back to campuses, we said that, we'd revisit in a few years. And does it make sense to keep it on campus versus, taking it off campus? And I'll be, again, quite frank, we haven't had that conversation. Probably haven't even thought about it, because of so much going on right now with the conference realignment stuff, the NCAA transformation issues, items, name, image, and likeness. So many of those things have really helped us captive and in terms of just, our attention. And so really haven't, had a conversation or thought about it. Again, I think it would have to be something compelling. And I don't want to speak for Kirby, but something really compelling to bring it back to a neutral site.
Mack, one more thing, and I know you have a meeting to get to. When Brett Yormark last week was also speaking, he mentioned that Texas and Oklahoma have been fully engaged among everyone in the Big 12. Everyone now knows that timeline is 24, 25, whatever still happens with any kind of fees, penalties, whatever. I don't know, but did that surprise you? And has that been comfortable? And have they ever actually given anybody an idea that might be helpful?
Look, it does not surprise me. I think, right out of the gate, we felt strongly about both would be with us, up till the end, right through the 24-25 academic year. And they really spoke to that, both institutions, presidents and athletic directors. And then, that began to change and move in a different direction, and thought, well, maybe, there's a window, an opportunity, a win-win for both the Big 12 and those institutions to at least, maybe leave a year early. And then, it's come back now. And I think we're on pretty solid footing that they will stay until the last year, the 24-25 academic year. Is it a little bit awkward? Sure it is. But we're all grown-ups. This is the script. This is what it is. And we've got to find a way to manage business. And oh, by the way, you're adding four teams to some of those meetings, and 4 teams that really don't have a vote because they're not actual members. And so there's a lot, in terms of just trying to navigate all that. But I would just say, all 14 institutions, I think, have handled it well. I do think there's a sincerity from some of the people from both of the institutions that they want the Big 12 to be viable and continue on, and every now and then there is a good idea.
Could you do everything? I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, did I answer? I answer all of the questions?
You didn't mention anything if there's a good idea, but I wanted to bring up someone on your staff as you walk to your meeting. What would you do without Lauren Smith?
Wow, that is a question that probably caught me off guard a little bit, but I think Lauren has such great passion for people. She loves people. She truly wants what's best for them. And I would say, that certainly starts with staff, with our executive team, with myself, but also with people external to our department. She does a lot for my family. She does a lot for me, for the athletics department, for the athletic director's office. She's great at what she does, and hoping that she wants to be here for at least as long as I'm here.
Thank you, Mack. Appreciate it so much. Good to see you today. Mack Rhoades, Director of Athletics at Baylor, on many things. The visit from Brett Yormark. It was a scheduled day for the Big 12 meetings. They had a conference call, and he also spoke, as we had earlier, at the tip-off luncheon in the interview.